Starting route to Buckhew Lien. Proceed to St. Clair Avenue East, then take a sharp right turn. Turn left. The light, turn right onto O'Connor Drive. At 800 meters, turn left onto Bermondsey Road. Past this light, then at the next one, turn left. At the light, turn left onto Bermondsey Road. In 1.8 kilometers, turn left onto Eglinton Avenue East. the next light, turn left. At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn onto Eglinton Avenue East. (1.2 kilometers), take a slight right turn to merge onto Don Valley Parkway. North. Use the right lane to take a slight right turn to merge onto Don Valley Parkway. North. Take a slight right turn. 700 meters, turn right onto Gervais Drive. Turn right onto Gervais Drive, then turn right onto Winford Drive. On cooking, the creation of a human soup finished with healthy superfoods like goji berries, red dates. There's another dish that resembles curry. Part 3 is the butchering. It shows more in depth of the disassembly process. The private parts of the victim are arranged on a fresh, clean plate like a Thanksgiving dinner. The centerpiece is the decapitated head. At one point, the victim's private parts are inserted into the victim's head. It just, along with other general depraved acts. There are some people online who state that they saw a video of the butcher placing the victim's head into a boiling pot of water like a giant meatball. However, that video has not been widely circulated, so at this point it's debatable if it exists, but I don't think that it would be surprising if it did. The way that this victim is meticulously taken apart, and the way that even the execution is carried out, it does not feel like someone's first time, which makes people suspect initially that the butcher is a butcher. That turns out not to be true. So who the hell is this butcher? And who's the
about 1
office
kilometer,
who is
turn right
self-pleasuring
onto
for
Left
the street? What's happening? Is this even real, or is this like a fake video? It would not be the first time that a fake snuff film circulated, tricking the initial set of viewers online when it goes public of thinking that this is a real murder, which would make sense. I mean, considering there was a whole rehearsal video, like you have a table read before a movie filming, maybe that is an acting before the big act. The selection of videos gets heavily studied by the internet, and they come to the conclusion that no matter how cynical, no matter how skeptical, there is no way that these videos are fake. These videos are very much real. There are all these other details that start getting noticed as people are turning through to even just verify that these videos are real. The minute that people start analyzing the footage for what it is, there are so many things that come up. Firstly, you can hear in the video pretty clear noises of motorcycles passing by, dogs barking, which would suggest that whatever is taking place in this bathroom, this is probably in a relatively busy area. It does not appear to be in the middle of nowhere. Are we to assume then that this is taking place in the middle of a busy residential neighborhood? One comment online reads, I've watched this video over and over, and when I listened, I could hear the motorcycle was really loud, and it wasn't going slow either. It sounded like an other purpose. I think this is someone's house. Or maybe this is, I saw someone else online say that this was a restaurant owner and this is a restaurant bathroom, which would make sense because they would have big buckets and basins and iron tables and bowls and chopsticks. So is this happening in a restaurant in a busy city area? So far, the theories are that the butcher is either a real-life butcher or a restaurant owner. A restaurant owner would also make sense because they would be proficient in disassembling chunks of meat. But that means that people are under the impression that this is not the butcher's first time butchering large quantities of meat. Then you have another group of guys in Flatwine. What if it's not butchers just starting to butchering humans? What if you're not proficient at butchering large animals? What if they're just good butchers? If that's the case, how many times have they done this before? And are they the only ones doing this? Like, are there others? One of the more distinguishing physical traits of the butcher, the whole time, a lot of the times he's naked and he's wearing a face mask. So instead of the anonymous full face mask, he's wearing, one of those COVID face masks, a medical mask. And you can see a big part of his body. There's a tattoo on his arm and it reads that day 139. So is that just a random number? Is that some sort of initiation? Is that some sort of code? Perhaps that's the day that he's initiated into this line of work, when this life begins for him. Some say it's shorthand for 13K, which 13K somehow relates to the price of butchered pigs on Vietnamese social media. So perhaps he is a real life pig farmer, pig butcher. Others say this could be an identified number for his videos. If this video has been circulating on Telegram group chats and there's an organization of people who kill people and create snuff film video content, how do you know who's the killer in each one? Because they need to get paid. So this tattoo of 139, maybe he's killer 139, 139, because this could just be a giant snuff film ring that the internet just uncovered. There's something so exciting about January, that spark of ambition that you have been carrying for months and maybe years, that business idea that keeps you up at night and you're like, oh, this is such a good idea, but someone's probably going to do it first. You should just do it now. And the most powerful decision you can make is launching your business with Shopify. Shopify delivers a complete toolkit for selling wherever your customers are, online, or face-to-face at markets and pop-ups. You manage everything from one central hub. No switching platforms, no painful migrations, just seamless growth. You're joining millions of entrepreneurs who have already taken this leap from recognizable brands to a camera exactly where you are just months ago, including us. Our first launch with Shopify was for Grandpa Mingo's Art Studio, and it was basically our first small business experience, and Shopify made it so beginner friendly. So much so that we do have something that's coming out in maybe like a few weeks, hopefully. But we're really excited to share that we're working with Shopify again for it. Your future is waiting. Make 2026 the year that you claim it. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Rotten. Go to shopify.com/Rotten. That's shopify.com/Rotten. Get the sound of your first sale this new year with Shopify by your side. very strong argument could be made that one of the most disturbing ways to start a book is you flip open the page and the main character is talking in depth about how she watches JFK's assassination footage over and over, watches the part where Jackie Kennedy is having the worst day of her life, scrambling to pick up the pieces of her husband, and how the main character thinks about this every day in order to reach the pinnacle of pleasure. Like, that would be a really good argument if you told me that is the worst way to start a book. I would not argue with you. That's precisely how the Japanese manga Applicant for Death starts. The main girl spends multiple pages describing how much she likes the idea of basically being murdered. At one point, another woman appears. I don't know who this woman is, but she starts rehearsing how it will be done. And the main girl reaches the point of sheer happiness that none of us could probably relate to. And eventually, she is shot, but she's still alive. And she is playing with her brain matter while the other woman is playing with other things, and she reaches her destination before finally arriving to the point of no return. Death. However, that is where the video ends, and the manga cuts to a guy watching the computer screen. He's getting off on this, and the female executioner tells the audience that she's breaking the fourth wall and murder. We only sell the rest of the footage to people who can keep quiet and pay enough. We'll check up on you. Even if you order, we'll just send you a generic video. This video is not for sale to the general public.
Wait, I'm so sorry. This is still in the manga, right? Yeah. So in the manga, a guy is watching this girl doing all of this on his computer screen. And in his computer screen, they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And the guy behind the computer screen is getting frustrated because he wants to see the rest of the video. But the female executioner continues. Depending on the results of our investigation, we may give it to other people free of charge. She continues that the people in the video are not leaving this world because of illness or pain or death. They're doing it for pleasure, for desire. She says, we can give you the experience you long for. I'm waiting for your call. And the guy starts fantasizing about it. And it somehow, his sister gets involved, who they start having relations. And then eventually he calls the executioner to come and kill him. And he just, the whole setup is he wants his sister to watch him die, and he's going to have intimate relations with the female executioner. And right as he's reaching that point, his sister, who is on standby with a giant sword, is going to cut his head off. And this manga and the rules of human anatomy and the limitations of modern medicine do not apply, because once his head is cut off, he's still alive. So he's like watching his body still finish relations with this female executioner. And then his sister decides that she's going to have relations with his body, and the female executioner is now holding the sword, and then kills his sister. And so now she places the brother's head and the sister's head next to each other, apart from their bodies, and their bodies are still doing things, and the heads are making out. This is like a 40-page manga. I didn't know so much could happen in 40 pages. It started progressing into more and more alarming territory, and to my amazement, it never ceased to just stop being disturbing. This was translated into English. This was also translated into Vietnamese. And we know this because there's an online content forum that primarily focuses on posting brutal sexual content. And it had posted Applicant for Death. The manga gets translated from Japanese into Vietnamese. And the poster writes, translated per the request of Mr. Dat, D-A-T, beheading. The internet will soon uncover that Mr. Dat beheading is the office man in the Vietnamese butcher videos, the one who was killed. So he specifically asked for this just to be manga to be translated into Vietnamese. He has an extensive history that we're going to get into. And I think a lot of that begs this big question in this case that I don't necessarily think is a question, but a lot of people have posted, which is, what exactly are we allowed to give consent to? What if someone wants to remove their leg in a safe manner? There is a real condition called VID. It's where someone with healthy limbs feels a profound feeling and belief that they need to amputate typically a leg or both legs or perhaps an arm in order to feel whole. They feel that these limbs are healthy, yes, but they're foreign. And every second that they live with this foreign limb, it drives drives them insane. But you can't just amputate your leg in the kitchen and hope for the best, which is where the debate comes in. How much are we allowed to have control over our own bodies? How much are we allowed to go to a doctor and say, can you please cut off my leg? Can you consent to that? Can the doctor do it? Do the rules apply? But the doctor is not supposed to cause harm. And objectively, they could argue that this would be causing harm to your life. But you could argue, no, in fact, having this leg is causing harm to my life. There's a lot of debate on this. I mean, it's very rare condition, so the debate is not extensive. I will say some really messed up people have extended this debate to include transgender community members. I don't think that applies. For this, specifically, there is a huge argument of, well, if you lose a leg and you choose to amputate your leg, then you are now viable for disability checks. Now the taxpayers are paying for something that you have to live with for the rest of your life, and you have to continue getting probably in-house care for an extended period of time. So there's like all this debate along with that. There's just a lot in that. It's completely separate from any other debate. It's just that. How much can you be in control of your own body, and to what extent? And then how can you say it stops there? What if you take it a step further? What if you just don't even want your leg to be gone? You want someone to eat it, and you consent to it, and you find someone who also consents to eating it. Is that a crime? What if in a hypothetical world, there are no quote unquote victims? You sign a waiver that you will never sign up for disability checks. You sign a waiver that you will never ask the government or the community members for assistance. And you consent that no one will ever see this footage. No one will ever know what happens. You are privately in your own personal home. You cut off a piece of your thigh and you give it to your beloved significant other for them to consume for dinner. Is there a crime that is committed? Yes or no? Because is there a victim? Can you have a victimless crime? That is the whole debate. Forwards the next 5 days, and I don't know post on forum though. I'm interested in putting a long pig, right now 125 pounds to eat. How much should I fatten her for the best eating? And what do I use to fatten her? I didn't know this, but apparently some Europeans call humans long pigs because we are longer than a pig, but we apparently taste like pork, humans. That post was on the now defunct Cannibal Cafe forum, which I'm sure if you've been interested in any sort of true crime cases for a while, you know about the very infamous Cannibal Cafe case of the German cannibal who murdered and killed his victim to be eaten. I mean, this is a forum where half the people want to be eaten and the other half are very, very hungry. Another post reads, anyone need a blonde girl for the main course dish to eat? See my email and write. I will show you my delicious meat. Another one rants about how men just aren't cannibals anymore. The post reads, looks like these aren't real cannibals on here. The kind of cannibal that would actually go for a hunt for a female captive to capture and prepare and roast and eventually eat. Probably some male cannibal wannabes on here, but they're held down by the leashes of their wives and kids and girlfriends. The website Cannibal Cafe is now down after, like I said, the very famous German cannibal murdered and cannibalized his victim in 2001. That's where they met. But one would have to assume that this has to be a very small portion of the population that's interested in this, but it's a lot more than you would think. One post on Reddit reads, I'm a girl with cannibalism fetish, ask me anything. The top comment is, so is it you eating other humans or being eaten by other humans? Or both? She responds, good question. It's primarily me eating other people. The idea of other people eating me is pretty unsettling. Or I'll oftentimes fantasize about feeding my boyfriend to other people, and occasionally it'll be me cutting off his limbs and forcing him to eat his own limbs. God damn it, he's probably gonna read all of this. On a separate Reddit thread, someone writes, I get the idea of someone wanting to eat human flesh as a specialized interest, like a fantasy, imagination. I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I get it. Quote, I understand the appeal. Like, I don't like it, but I get where it's coming from, just like any other crazy thing, okay? So anyway, I made a post about cannibalism some time ago. I deleted it, but I got a DM from a really weird guy, and he somehow assumed that I had a cannibalism fetish from the post, which I don't have. And he said to me something saying like he's so unlucky because none of the women he meets likes cannibalism, and he would be willing to travel to me to be cooked in an oven and be eaten by me. He even described how he wants to be served and what foods he wants to be paired with. He said that he wants to be a human pig and cooked like pig. He eventually started sending me pictures. I didn't even look at any of them because I was disgusted. Anyway, isn't it weird? I just don't get what could be the possible motivation or appeal of being eaten. That is a post on Reddit. One response puts it pretty simply. It's just about being predator and prey. That's it. But that doesn't stop people from looking into this Vietnamese butcher case. Like I said, the Facebook group called OSINT and Cyber Investigations in Vietnam, they kickstarted this entire investigation. And the only other clear indicator in these videos that made public was that it was most likely filmed in Vietnam. The language being spoken is Vietnamese between the victim and the butcher, and they take it upon themselves, this Facebook group, to investigate. At this point, the police are not investigating. Nobody is except OSINT. And they're the ones that released this 100-page document into the whole world that's translated into English. So the first order of business is finding who the victim is. That's probably easier because somebody is gone. That means there must be others who are looking for that person, posting missing persons flyers. It's harder to find a killer. It's easier to find a missing loved one.
His face is out there.
Yeah, that's the logic. So OSINT starts looking into forums in Vietnam that have to do with wanting to be consumed, wanting to be killed. Yes, they went through the missing persons thing. They didn't find him. No one was actively searching for him. So they started going into these beheading forums with extreme interest. And in one of them, they find someone that looks like the victim. And he gives his phone number. And using that phone number, they're able to find different accounts on different platforms. And one even lists his birthday as March 10th, 1989. So now we know that this victim is 36 years old, which tracks with his appearance in the videos. And all of his accounts have some variation of the username DAT, and beheading. And out of all the websites that we've talked about in this episode, Motherless is probably one of the worst ones. You can't even link Motherless on Reddit. It's banned. It's not just a shitty place to go. There's a speculation that because of the sheer amount of illegal content that was allegedly posted on there, that the FBI actually uses it as a honeypot, meaning the feds are most likely monitoring it, and anyone who visits too often and searching the very specific videos are potentially being tracked by the feds. It has been uncovered that the victim had a Motherless account where he would share a bunch of photos and videos that revolve around the themes of cannibalism and being beheaded. AI-generated clips of hooded, masked men tying a woman and using sharp objects on them to eat them. And from there, the online detectives just continue to dig, and they find out the victim's full name is Wen Swan Dat. So that is DAT. So it's not like in English where it's like that beheading, but instead of THAT, you use DAT. It's just part of his name. But Wen is what we're going to call him. Wen goes on to create multiple different accounts to join forums to talk about this final fantasy where he is going to be beheaded. A lot of his accounts were created back in 2019, so this is like a 6-year endeavor that he's been on. One of his accounts just read, I love beheading. I also want to lose my head with an axe or a sword. And there's also indications that this probably was way before 2019 his interest started. There was this online group called Girls Beheading Lover, and they post in 2018. Anybody like role-playing about beheadings? Inbox me, only girls. Wen responds, can you connect with me? Are you a male or a female? I'm a male, but I want to have my head beheaded by a female executioner. Wen responds to another post in 2022 that reads, is anyone in Hanai interested in the topic of beheading? Looking to chat with someone about it. If interested, please inbox me. Another person responds to that post, I want to die, seriously. Wen responds, are you for real? If so, please inbox me to discuss. It would not be an over-exaggeration to say that Wen seems obsessed with the idea of being beheaded and killed.
Message from Toronto District School Board. A student in your household named Katie in grade 12 was absent for afternoon attendance taking. Submitting a reason for this student will prevent this system from calling you again. If you are aware of this absence, press 1. If you are not aware of this absence, press 2. Please do not hang up until you have received your confirmation number. Select the type of absence. Full day. Press 1. Late. Press 2. Early departure. Press 3. Please did return. Please enter the time your student left school followed by the pound key. To return to the previous menu, press the star key. Time you have entered is 2 p.m. If the time entered is correct, press 1. To read, please select an absence reason from the following list. Illness, press 1. Doctor appointment, press 2. Dentist appointment, press 3. Weather, press 4. Family responsibilities, press 5. Other reason, press 6. To return to you have entered this absent for Katie. The departure on January 19th at 10 p.m. for the following reason. Other reason, to submit this absence to the school. Press 1. To start over again, press 2. To return to the previous menu, press the star key.
Use the left lane to take exit 69 on the left bridge onto Avenue.
You have entered this absent for Katie. The departure on January 19th at 10 p.m. for the following reason. Other reason, to submit this absence to the school. Press 1. To start your confirmation number for this absence is C. W.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn onto Wilson Avenue.
To listen to your confirmation number again, press 1. Exit. Press 2. Thank you for using Safe Arrival. Goodbye.
Even requested the applicant for death manga to be translated into Vietnamese. I mean, this manga is very interesting because it could more or less, the fantasy that the victim ultimately settles on feels very reminiscent of this manga. Even having the head pulled and then placed to watch the rest of the body kind of mirrors the manga.
By the way, what you said one of the person online posted to say I wanted to die, and he responded, "Oh, please email me."
Yeah.
So he's interested in.
No, he's only interested in being the victim, but he likes to connect with people with like minds so that they can talk about their fantasy together. And a lot of the reason that this case gained traction in uncovering details was friends of Wen, online friends who had similar interest, would share messages that they had with Wen. Like one from 2023, his post reads, "Offering my head, but no one is taking it." And then the next year in 2024, he posts again, "Offering my head, waiting for someone to take it." So for years, since at least 2019, he has been begging for someone to partake in this final fantasy of his. But it's not until January of 2025, this year, he gets someone, last year, he gets someone to do what he's hoping for. One post on Facebook, 3 hours left until the execution. So yes, the internet, the netizens, they find the victim, but that's not enough. They need to find the killer because the killer could be finding their next victim. They could be doing this for money. There could be multiple people who have gone missing that nobody is looking for that they have done the same exact thing to. So even though they found Wen, they still have no idea who the masked man, who the butcher is, and they need to comb through all the evidence. He's wearing a blue face mask in this photo where he's holding up Wen's head, severed head in the mirror. And you can see his eyes, eyebrows, his forehead that's showing. He looks middle-aged. He clearly has a receding hairline. He has distinct scars on his eyebrow area that netizens have pinpointed, analyzed, stared at, studied. He's also shirtless. You see that a good chunk of his torso, he has very stocky build. He's got a birthmark that goes near his armpit on one arm. Then on the other arm, you have that tattoo, the distinctive That Day 139. That's it. How are they going to find the butcher with just that? And they need to find him quick because it seems like the butcher has taken over Wen's account on Facebook and is looking for new victims, is now messaging Wen's friends who have shared interests, asking them questions about their fantasies.
Oh, so now he's active.
He's active.
On Wen's account.
Yes.
Huh.
And other people are coming forward saying, hey, yes, Wen had this fantasy, but he was not doing well. Like he was clearly a victim. One alleged friend of Wen's, we're going to call them friend number one, posted a screenshot of messages that they had with Wen before his passing. And Wen is messaging, not only am I ugly, but I'm also full of diseases. I can't afford to live freely like a normal person. I have to depend on my parents for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm completely useless. What other choice do I have? I truly am a prisoner of my own fate. If it wasn't because of God, I would have met the end already. I just want to meet someone that once we become close enough, they would just kill me. Wen writes again, I want to meet someone who can fuck me and then kill me right after, which has netizens thinking, at this point, the butcher should have just helped Wen. Instead of killing him, he should have just gotten him help. But the most interesting thing to come out of this, the most valuable piece of information, is people start messaging this person asking for more information about Wen. Like, if you were that close with Wen, can you tell us anything else? And they state, well, Wen was pretty normal. We only met once, maybe for like 30 minutes. Really? When was that you guys met? Was it a long time ago? He just was spending the 30 minutes to talk about how he liked having group activities with other men. He showed me a video of himself performing on a man. I mean, I can say this though, Wen's fetish for wanting to be beheaded is very real. But the most valuable piece of information is this anonymous friend tells the OSINT, the online investigators, I know the name of the butcher. He goes by the name Chung. Chung. And as the investigators are getting closer to figuring out who the butcher is, a post pops up on their Facebook group. I am the executioner. Who can catch me? Then another post from a different account. So now this is a different account and it's a picture of someone's meal and it appears to be a plate of meat and some soup and some noodles. Come on, it's just a few pieces of human meat. It's unclear if this is real human meat. It's unclear if anything. But within an hour of this picture going up, it gets taken down. So is this really the butcher? Is the butcher scared? The netizens, are they getting closer to figuring out who the butcher is? So they're freaking out? So in the final installment of the snuff film trilogy titled Butchering, it looks like it's being filmed in a kitchen. And on one side, you have half of a plastic water bottle. It's called La Vie. So at this point, the online netizens are like, we know for sure this is happening in Vietnam. These are not Vietnamese like diaspora in other parts of the world because, yes, in the video, they're speaking Vietnamese, but that doesn't mean that they have to live in Vietnam. I can speak Korean, but I'm in the United States. But this water bottle is specifically sold in Vietnam. So they're like, okay, this is happening in Vietnam. But also on top of that, they find like these very mundane little trivial inconsequential pieces of items. There's a bottle of dish soap. The netizens have discovered that this is really only sold in the northern area of Vietnam. How do they know this? Because the dish soap is Chinese. It's like a very cheap Chinese brand, and the northern part of Vietnam borders China. So they really only sell this in that area because they have the Vietnamese dish soap in all the other areas. So this is like very easy to bring across the border, or like people will go up there and buy it and then bring it back. So they're like, this is definitely only on the northern part of Vietnam. So people start pinpointing it down that way. Okay, so not only is it just Vietnam, it's on the northern part of Vietnam. And then we've got all of these things in the kitchen. So the kitchen doors are this weird avocado green color that's very specific and unique. I mean, there's got to be something. So as they're hunting that down, another YouTube channel pops up. They have been investigating this diligently from the very beginning. They're called K-Topo, which translates to the curious one. They went as far to try and reconstruct the scene of the crime. But because with the suspected homicide taking place in January of this year, with videos being circulated later in July, and then just radio silence, a lot of people thought that this was almost like an urban legend. It's just going to go down as one of those internet things we never get the answer to. But he somehow is able to track, and he says, I think I know who the butcher is. And he posts a picture of who he believes is the butcher. So this is a picture that he got on some.
Hello. Đau lên. Chị nghe không? 15 phút. Biết định mới mấy bữa vô chơi rồi.
Personal Facebook account, and he photoshopped a mask on and then compared it to the butchering video, and it looks like the same person. It looks like the same person, but this is where it's weird. It looks like the same person, does not feel like the same person. Clearly, in the one that was from his personal Facebook page, his face is relaxed. He looks like a happy guy. In the other one, he looks like a killer. But you can see the facial features, they're all very similar. The smile lines, the eye shape, the eyebrows, the scar above his eyebrow, everything feels exactly the same. Now, the curious one, the YouTuber releases a statement that he's going to be withdrawing from this investigation and that the perpetrator is in a high position of power. And just know that if anything happens to this YouTuber, every single piece of information that he's dug up, he's got like a kill switch, if you will. It's going to go public.
Right, so he dropped this high-powered individual's identity, basically.
Just photo.
But with that photo, you can find out who he is on the net.
Yes. More importantly, he drops a screenshot of the individual's social media account and he blurs out the name, but people are very easily able to unblur it. And the username is Tan Chung 11111. Chung. People start cross-referencing that username with all the different social media platforms, and they find a lot. The two of them, Wen and the Butcher, seem to have crossed paths on a gay group chat called Likes Beheading. Wen is really active in the chat, saying things like, I want to be beheaded, I volunteer to be beheaded. There's additionally a supposed leak message thread between Wen and a friend of his, where Wen sends them a picture of his head on a chopping board. He's alive, and he writes, I'm ready, waiting for the time. His friend responds, who's going to do it? Chung? No, another person. Why don't you just... He agreed, but he keeps pushing and delaying the time. The potential suspect, the Butcher, their social media history is also pretty extensive. It's also very interesting to see how somebody's interests and tastes evolve over time. It starts off with scatology, which is a pretty high entrance for specialized interests, but there's a post that reads, anyone here eat shit in the game? You want to be the shit eater or the shit maker? To which the suspected Butcher responds, the shit maker. In 2022, the suspected Butcher posts pictures on a forum showing up dismembered pieces of a body. He claims that this is just like a scary themed horror post. This is just to get everyone to toughen up through the usage of gore, but it's not real. However, it is theorized now that this could very well be a victim before Wed. He also continues to post pictures of what appears to be men's private parts that have been taken off the body. One of them is delicately spray painted in gold. It's unclear if this is like an artistic piece that he found, if he made it, or if this is a real human body part that he's used to create this. He likes a ton of other posts that have to do with eating meat, and specifically the purchasing of dismembered male private parts. He's buying them, he's selling them, and I don't know.
Turn left onto Divorce Drive, then turn right onto Shepherd Avenue West.
Ôi, ôi,
Để tôi tính thẳng cho bà luôn là hôm nay giá là một
dạ.
tìm lại bà đó.
Thì ra chờ đi, tại vì đi từ downtown về cho nó hơi kẹt xe chút.
Bà gần tới tôi chưa?
10 phút. Nó
Ui,
cứ đèn xanh đèn đỏ hoài à.
Ồ, xỉu luôn.
Ráng chờ đi, người để.
Xong mà đi ra ngoài đó mà về, khổ bà nè.
Thôi,
Trời snow đồ nó cực á. Ok,
đi làm chứ đi đâu trời.
No, just like on Twitter, on these forums. I mean, people will write things like, "How I need to castrate myself. I need money. How much for all my privates?" And he'll say, "DM me. I want it all. I want to eat it so bad." Now, I don't know if this is some sort of role play that's happening on social media. People are just engaging in this stranger to stranger fake fantasy land, or if he truly is purchasing a lot of these male body parts. I wouldn't be surprised, judging by the fact that somebody is dead and somebody was killed on camera, but it's just very strange how there is a large community of people doing this. It's not even just one person, and it's not even on the down low. These are just out and about on regular, publicly accessible forums talking about how they want to purchase sometimes one ball, two balls, the whole set. He also talks about how he wants hands and feet stewed with bamboo shoots and a male body part stewed with lemongrass and chili. And the way that he writes about it, it seems like he's talking about food that he's eaten before. It doesn't seem like, oh, let me use my imagination. I think this would taste good. The answer answers and responses to these inappropriate messages online seem very firm and confident, as if this is his favorite dish. Other times, he just gets straight to the point. There will be people posting inappropriate videos, and I didn't click on them because I was scared of the links, but they seem to be inappropriate videos. I don't know if there's cannibalism in the topic of the video, but they seem like your run-of-the-mill, inappropriate, X-rated videos, and he's just DMing these creators. I want to kill you so bad. I really want to kill you. So at this point, people start digging and digging and digging, and they find other accounts that are related to Tan Chung. And they realize that Tan Chung is a young kid, a kid in his 20s, a kid to wealthy parents. There's a picture of him sitting on a sidewalk in front of his family-owned red Mercedes. But more importantly, this kid is wearing a distinct athletic tracksuit with yellow stripes going down the sides, exactly like the one from the rehearsal video.
Wait, but in the rehearsal video, it wasn't a young kid, was it?
I mean, the whole face is covered up. But I will say that they seem a lot more stocky in the video, but maybe this young. What the frustrating part is, in the other two videos, the execution and the butchering, you can clearly see that this is a middle-aged man. This kid is clearly not middle-aged, so how can they be the same person? But if it's not the same person, how are there so many similarities? Someone drives by the house that Tan Chung apparently lives in, this 23-year-old, and they take pictures as they're driving by. And right outside, you see a pair of slippers outside the front door. The butcher is seen in the video wearing the exact same slippers. I mean, maybe it's a very common pair of slippers, but still, all of this is just a growing list of coincidences. But still, it doesn't answer the fact that there's no way that a 20-something-year-old is also a middle-aged man at the same time. OSINT does more digging, and they notice that with every platform that Tan Chung is on, there is another account that is always closely associated. And it's not like they're always interacting, but they're always following each other on every platform. Doan Seng. They go to Doan Seng's account. This is a middle-aged man with a scar above his eyebrow and a big birthmark on his arm. Doan Seng resembles the butcher, at least to the best of netizen knowledge. So how is it that everyone originally thought that Tan Chung was the butcher? Are there two butchers? Is this like a whole operation with multiple people involved? If you go to Tan Chung's profile, you'll see that he was born September 13th, 2002. Everywhere else in the world, they do day, month, year.
That's his dad.
Yes. 13th of September would be 139. The tattoo on the butcher is that day. 23-year-old Tan Chung is not the butcher. His dad is. And his dad has been using his son's name to create online profiles to join these group chats where they fantasize about killing and eating people. It's the dad.
Wow. So, but is the son a part of it? Does he?
The son does not appear to be a part of it in any way. It seems like he found out after the fact. And after the fact, it seems he's on his dad's side. Whether he believes that his dad is innocent, whether he believes, well, the victim asked for it and my dad was just doing what he asked for, why is that such a big deal? I don't know what his mentality is, but it does seem from very limited evidence on social media of him reposting like memes that he is in some support of his dad.
So the dad's wearing his son's clothes?
It seems like they share clothes.
Oh.
The dad is not just a random person. He is the former deputy head of Market Management Department number 4, which sounds like he works at a supermarket, but it's not. This is basically a huge government entity that enforces and inspects all of the commercial activities in a local area. It's a business department of an entire community. This man has a wife, he has 2 sons. I wouldn't go as far to say that he's a great dad, even if I didn't know of this crime. If he has a cup in his kitchen that reads best dad in the world, that cup is a liar. He seems normal, but he's just like on his personal account, he posts a picture of abalone porridge. But the piece of abalone, which if you guys know abalone, it's like a shellfish where it's really good for you. It has a lot of health benefits, but it's like maybe 2 fingers and it's slimy. It's like a giant mussel, like a clam, like a giant clam, a giant mussel, but definitely thicker and chewier in texture, but just look wise if you haven't seen what abalone looks like. However, like a mussel, all the sides are flat. They're smooth, they're flat, and then the edges, they have like the mussel texture with like the ridges that come up and get a little chewy. But this one, it doesn't The side is not flat. It has an opening that is very reminiscent of a female body part. Now, some people have mentioned that abalone in general does resemble female body parts, but this, when you see it, I mean, this doesn't resemble an abalone. Perhaps abalone looks different in different parts of the world. Perhaps this is a faulty abalone or someone who messed with an abalone to make it resemble a detached female body part. I don't know. I saw the picture of it.
So he posted on Facebook. Yeah, he titled it abalone porridge, or he just posted that
Just
photo.
posted the photo, and it's, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that he would post it if it was a crime, but then again, I don't know. On his own personal account, he was posting the gold male private parts that looked somewhat artistic.
Right. So okay. So he's pretty blatant about this.
Yes. He's also just not a family guy. He posted a whole biography of a Japanese adult actress talking about her childhood and then how she gets recruited into the industry, just everything about her. I mean, this is a dad and a man who works for the government. He's actually retired earlier last year in 2025, but it was that he was still working in January. And this is very important. Once people find out that it's the dad, they start going through all of his personal accounts, and he has a ton of those like old people videos where they're just
So
yes.
far, everything you say is like real-time discovery in the last few months by the internet.
Yes, the police are not investigating.
Until like everything was
Exactly.
crystal clear and the police came in.
Not even was it just crystal clear, it became so crystal clear, and this man is in a government position working as the deputy head of market management. There was outrage. I feel like the arrest only happened because people were able to figure out this is a government official and people were super pissed about it. Had it not been, I don't know if an arrest would have been made.
Because you were saying like when this came out, there was a lot of suppressing, right? Like
Yes.
nobody could even talk about it publicly. Wow.
And then I think that some people, I will say that there were a lot of ignorant non-Vietnamese people who probably added to it, which I think a lot of people were suppressed and could not talk about it. And then I think the people that did want to talk about it, a lot of Westerners would be like, guess what, you should go to Vietnam. Because I don't know, we're dumb over here. So then it just made it all worse. It's like, I don't know, have you ever read the news in America? We're not doing so hot. Maybe we should worry about our own problems before saying stuff like that, but you get the idea. Now, the rehearsal video, it was filmed in some sort of office, and this is very important because in all of this, people were able to cross-check, and they realized that all the butchering videos happened inside of government buildings, the offices in which he was working, the rehearsal video, even the misalignment of the cabinets. It's in the background of one of his own personal photos that he was filming outside of the office. The kitchen is part of a government building. The green avocado shutter doors, the kitchen tiles with the white and the blue little clover designs, that is all a government building. The bathroom is a government building.
How does he have no fear of, he posts these on Facebook and then he's doing this whole operation inside?
I guess he thought that these photos and videos would only circulate on Telegram, which at that point, if your coworker is on Telegram purchasing these videos, then maybe you just find a friend in the game. You don't find someone who's going to rat you out.
It's impossible for him to be this ballsy if this is his first time.
Exactly.
Doing something like this.
What makes it even worse is it was timed to perfection. It seems that Wen is murdered near the end of January 25th, 2025 to be exact. That would be the perfect window of opportunity because Lunar New Year is January 26th, 2025. There is a 7 to 10 day holiday in Vietnam and a lot of Asia where nobody goes into the office. The office would have been completely deserted. So with that, November 28th, an arrest is finally made. The believed butcher Doan Sang is arrested. Authorities allegedly find bone fragments in pipes and drains, 3 teeth found under the sink. But more importantly, he just confesses. He ends up admitting to what he's done. He manages to be a victim blamer the entire way through. He states that he met Wen online, and Wen is the one that gets him wrapped up in all this dark stuff. That Wen repeatedly gets him introduced into beheadings and all of this dark esoteric interest of extreme groups, which he naturally did not want. He said he was repulsed by it, but Wen kept asking him, and finally it's Wen that convinces him to commit these atrocious acts against Wen. But after Wen, he does the very normal, common sense thing of separating the body into bones, flesh, and organs. He boils the parts to help with decomposition and odor. For the bones, he smashes them, pulverizes them, and for the flesh, he places them into 10 plastic bags and then feeds them to wild dogs, stray dogs. As for the meat cleavers that he used, he got rid of them. And he still tries to play this all off as if this is his first time and he was just convinced into doing this by Wen. And as for when netizens were able to find which village he was from, and they called the village head, they do confirm that there was a guy with the same name, same age. A few years ago, his dad passed away and he ran away from the village. His mom has really severe mental health struggles, and that seems to be why no one has been looking for him. And it seems like that is where we are with the Vietnamese butcher case. I think it's crazy that none of this would have been discovered without netizens. I think the fact that this was just posted on not even like the dark web is so unsettling. But what are your thoughts? Have you guys heard of this case before? Let me know in the comments.
Do you think they're gonna find out more histories of him, or this is probably the case?
I would not doubt that there are more victims, but I don't think they're gonna look.
Turn left.
What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
Turn left. Then take the first right onto Jane Street. turn right onto Jane Street.
Cái vô đậu ngay cái cửa cái bạn không theo.
Right onto Jane Street, then take the first right. Right. Turn right into the parking lot. Turn right. At the next light, turn left. Turn right, then take the first right onto Jane Street. Proceed to the root. Proceed to the root. Turn left onto Shepherd Avenue West, then turn right into the parking lot. Turn right onto Shepherd Avenue West, then turn right into the parking lot. Turn right onto Shepherd Avenue West, then turn right into the parking lot. Proceed to the root. Proceed to the root. Turn right onto Shepherd Avenue West, then turn right into the parking lot. right into the parking lot. Turn right. 800 making turn at Oakdale Road. Pass this light, then next turn. Right. Use the left lane to make a U-turn at Oakdale Road. Turn. Proceed to the route. At the light, use the left lane to make a U-turn at Arrow Road. Make a U-turn. At the light, use the left lane to make a U-turn at Rivalda Road. Turn left. At the light, use the left lane to turn onto Weston Road, then take the first left onto Mainshep Road. At the light, turn left onto Mainshep Road, then turn left onto Mary Chapman Boulevard. Turn left onto Stratford Boulevard. Turn left onto Stratford Boulevard, then take first right onto Warlia Boulevard. Turn left onto Warlia Boulevard, then take the first left onto Stratford Boulevard. right onto Flynden Road, then take the first right onto Jasmine Road. Turn right onto Oma Avenue, then take the first left onto Griffin Street. Turn left onto Wallasey Avenue. Turn right onto Albion Road, then take the first left. In 700 meters, turn left. Stay in the left lane. At the next light, turn left. At the light, turn left, then take the first right onto Winoka Avenue. Go past this light, then at the next one, turn left. Proceed to the route. Proceed to the route. Proceed to the route. Proceed to the route.
Ủa có đi không vậy? Chồng ngồi dưới chồng. Chồng ngồi dưới chồng. Trên là vợ để đồ vợ hết rồi. Cái đó để làm gì, đi dục ra hả? Chồng có đi, có còn không chồng? Không hả? Được cái bán nè. Cái bán bên trong nó cũng mở cửa đâu. Tôi hết giờ làm việc rồi nó đóng. Đâu có ai sẵn đâu. Không. Dạ. Bạn chờ mấy chục xe này. Có gì đâu. Rồi mấy ông bảo cho tiếp lại 5 đồng còn lời ơi. Người ta cần người ta mới này. Nhiều người ta học kêu người ta cần không? Không. Không bà già, có đói bụng.
Ăn đi nè.
Là đi đi. Bác cục quá à. Đi đúng đúng luôn mà quá trời luôn. Ai mà đủ từ sao không 150 đó, 4 ngày là được 600 đó. Tại vì á, mình cứ nghĩ là mình lựa cái ít không thì nó ít cho lạc thì nó ít quá đi, cho nên ví dụ chồng chờ mấy cả 2 tiếng luôn mới có một cuốc, trong khi cái kia thì nó đầy hết trơn, mà nhiều khi cái thường thôi nhưng mà nó đi xa là cũng nhiều tiền. Nhưng hôm qua vợ là một cuốc 30, cuộc 20, nhiều cuộc 20 lắm, một cuộc lớn nhất là 30, là đi trên tuần là 30. Cho nên là mình cái loại thường nhưng mà đi xa là cũng nhiều tiền. Chứ bây giờ mình kén á, mình đòi cái loại mà phải mất tiền thì nó không có cho mình. Từ lúc mà vợ chạy tới giờ 10 ngày đi, chỉ có 2 ngày duy nhất là có hai hai cuộc lớn thôi, còn mấy cái ngày khác là không có luôn. Cắt cho lạc là chừng nào nó đi một cái nhóm đi chợ 5 đứa thì nó mới đút có cắt cho lạc. Tại xe thường là chỉ có bốn bốn chỗ à, không được có 3 đứa, 4 đứa trở lên là phải order xe lớn. Tôi vợ đăng ký lâu lắm rồi mà giờ có chạy đâu, tại vì mỗi lần chạy thử là không có khách. Vợ cũng nghĩ giống chồng vậy á, mình phải để cho lạc, để cho lạc chờ hoài 2 tiếng hồ không có mang nào chứ. Cần xe. Chồng có đem tivi của chồng không? Hả? Ừ, vậy lát chồng phải bỏ tivi của chồng cho vợ 3.000 bắn qua. Bây giờ tivi con của vợ không được là vợ bị thiếu một cái băng. 400 à?
Đâu có.
Lời có đúng 100 là ông đòi 100 mà. Thôi 50 á, chia đôi. Ra mệt ông ghê. Thôi, Đâu có CD đâu chồng hả? Đâu, chỉ có nhà băng CD thôi, chồng đâu có nhà băng. Chỉ có CD mà người mang rồi. Hả? Đấy, đi.
Đang rồi em lên đứt được rồi nó thay
Ra đó, bây giờ đi về cũng chọn. Nó nằm mê rất đều. Dạ định lát đi ơi. Ôi, trời gì quên mẹ. Mẹ giờ 8 giờ mấy rồi. Đi vô đây gặp thứ ba. Đừng có đâu xong.
In 600 meters, turn right on. Proceed to the route. In 500 meters, turn right onto Rexdale Boulevard. At the next light, turn right. At the light, turn right onto Rexdale Boulevard. 100 meters, turn right onto Kipling Avenue. At the next light, turn right.
Xe đâu ở đâu thật dài trời.
At the light, turn right onto Kipling Avenue. Then turn left into the parking lot.
Anh chặn mấy cái cây rồi mình đâu có về được. Chờ đèn. Chắc là mấy này đi vào nó order chủ plaza có tiền mà.
Turn left into the parking lot.
Có muốn có đi nè. Mà bắt này
Arrived.
Chờ đây đậu đây cho nó gần. Không, không có cầm tiền. Không có túi tiền vô mình. Đó. Có ảnh không? Nói từ nãy giờ mà xe là đã mở rồi. Sao chạy từ chỗ làm về là cũng đã chạy rồi. Mà có lúc nó nóng quá vậy thở không được rồi. Biết thì không sao, không phải. Nó ôm chồng thấy chồng đổ mồ hôi. Cảm thấy muốn đúng. Chốt vào tuyết vậy chứ mà mấy cái bar gà nó bắt phải có đăng ký kinh doanh rồi phải mua bảo hiểm, cho nên cái ông chủ ông ship ông đâu có muốn, cho nên là ông dễ gì mà ông có hợp đồng. Ông Dũng. Mà chín thì mình trừ cái 8.000 kia là còn 45 ha, thì cũng phải ấy nữa, càng thấp càng tốt. Nhé, nhé. Ngàn tiền là mua ngàn để đó, tới tháng 2 mua thêm. Tới đó từ thiện nó không có tính thành cái income, cho nên là cái income của chồng nó vẫn nằm đó, nó chỉ cho lại cái tiền thế thôi. Mà mình muốn là mình muốn kéo income, tại vì nếu kéo income á, nó mới được cái tiền benefit, worker benefit là được tới 2.000 mấy nữa extra nữa. Còn cái từ thiện nó không có kéo income mà nó chỉ cho lại tiền thuế, tức là nó gọi là gọi là cái gì, tức là ví dụ chồng cho từ thiện, income của chồng đang là 45 đi, cho từ thiện 5.000, nó không có trừ xuống thành 40 mà nó vẫn tính cái income của chồng là 45 thôi, chỉ cho lại chút xíu mấy ngàn từ thiện, cho 5.000 thì nó cho lại 1-2 ngàn, nhưng mà cái income nó không không có trừ income mình xuống. Vẫn tính là thu nhập cao, cho lại chút xíu nhỏ nhỏ lẻ một lần. Nói là 48, mà mình nói là mình không có sure, đừng hiểu không, luật thế nó đổi hoài à, cho nên mình cứ mua để mình hạ cái thu nhập, mình càng càng hạ tốt thì nó cho về càng nhiều thôi.
Chị ơi,
Ừ.
khoảng chừng nào chị về tới nhà?
Hai bốn mươi tám không không. Đậu dưới. Đậu dưới ok rồi, đậu lên đây. đầu quan trọng, cái đầu mà bị đụng là hư xe luôn, xe hết xài.